The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, has shocked not only her family but the entire nation. What began as a quiet evening in the Catalina Foothills of Tucson, Arizona, has become a complex, high-stakes investigation into a mysterious and alarming abduction that has left law enforcement, friends, and family desperate for answers. Nancy, an 84-year-old widow, had long lived a life of quiet routine. Her days were measured, serene, and largely predictable, spent in the comfort of her home, perched amid the scenic foothills that stretched north of Tucson. It was a life of peace, punctuated by familiar routines, the occasional family visit, and the kind of calm stability many would envy in their later years. But all of that was shattered on the night of Saturday, January 31st, 2026. That night, Nancy was last seen at her home around 9:45 p.m. For an elderly woman of her age, the evening would have likely been quiet and unremarkable. She had lived independently for years, carefully tending to her health and following a strict routine that included daily medication for her heart and other age-related conditions. Yet, when she failed to appear at her Sunday morning church service, alarm bells rang immediately. Her absence was unusual, and relatives, already aware of her health vulnerabilities, rushed to her home to check on her. When they arrived, the house was eerily quiet. There were no signs that she had left on her own. Nancy was simply gone. The discovery sent shockwaves through the family and prompted an immediate response from law enforcement. Authorities quickly launched a criminal investigation, treating the case with the utmost urgency. From the very beginning, Nancy's home was treated as a potential crime scene. Investigators suspected she had not left voluntarily. Forensic teams found blood matching Nancy's DNA on the front porch, a chilling indication that she may have been forcibly taken. Compounding the concern, her pacemaker, a device designed to continuously monitor her heart and send alerts, had stopped transmitting signals around the same time she vanished. This raised fears about her safety and the possibility that she could be in immediate medical danger. Security cameras installed around her residence captured unusual activity late that night. The footage was scrutinized carefully, revealing movements that immediately raised suspicion. Within hours, the FBI had joined the investigation, releasing images of a potential suspect and intensifying the search for Nancy. The situation quickly made clear that this was no ordinary missing person case. It was a potential abduction, one carried out with enough precision to alarm both the family and investigators, yet executed in a way that left critical questions unanswered. Every detail, from the blood evidence to the stopped pacemaker in the security footage, suggested that Nancy's disappearance was deliberate and potentially dangerous. The combination of her age, medical needs, and sudden, unexplained disappearance added an urgent dimension to the case. Authorities were racing against time, piecing together what had happened in the hours leading up to her vanishing. The atmosphere was tense, filled with uncertainty, as everyone involved, family, neighbors, and investigators, grappled with the reality that an elderly woman had been taken from the safety of her own home. In those first hours, the priority was clear: locate Nancy and determine whether she was in immediate danger. The FBI's involvement underscored the severity of the situation, signaling that this case demanded the full resources of federal law enforcement. It was a high-stakes scenario where every lead, every clue, and every piece of evidence could be critical in finding her. As investigators combed through the scene and analyzed the footage, the urgency of the situation only intensified. Each passing hour without Nancy heightened concern for her well-being. The combination of physical evidence, technology, and witness accounts began to form a picture of a troubling and potentially dangerous abduction, setting the stage for a nationwide search and a complex criminal investigation. Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas described the security footage as something out of a movie. The video, black and white footage from a doorbell camera, shows a hooded figure approaching Nancy's residence late at night. At first glance, it's difficult to determine the suspect's gender. The figure moves deliberately, yet with a careful, almost cautious rhythm. Close analysis of the footage reveals reflective items on the shoulders, later identified as straps from a backpack, and what may be a flashlight or a metallic reflection in the suspect's mouth area. These subtle details, while seemingly minor, offer insight into the planning behind the intrusion. The footage captured more than just the suspect approaching the Guthrie residence. It revealed meticulous preparation. The individual wore thick leather gloves, a common tactic used to avoid leaving fingerprints. A full backpack was slung over their shoulders, prompting questions about its contents, tools, supplies, or other items that could facilitate an abduction. Perhaps most alarming, one image showed a gun tucked into the waistband, signaling that the suspect was armed and potentially dangerous. Adding to the complexity, a pair of gloves was later discovered about 1.5 miles from the Guthrie home. While it is not yet confirmed that these belonged to the person in the footage, authorities are treating them as a significant potential lead. If connected, the gloves could provide a direct link to Nancy's disappearance, giving investigators a critical piece of evidence in a case fraught with uncertainty. Retired police officer and crime scene expert Dr. Mike McCutcheon offered his professional assessment of the suspect's behavior. He noted that although there were clear signs of preparation, hood, gloves, and backpack, the execution suggested inexperience rather than professional skill. The suspect's handling of the firearm, combined with the clumsy attempt to obscure the doorbell camera using potted plants, pointed to poor planning. Even the disposal of the gloves so close to the crime scene indicated impulsiveness and a lack of foresight. This is someone who fantasized about committing a crime, McCutcheon explained. It's not a trained professional operation. Every detail, from the gloves to the improvised attempts to avoid detection, painted a picture of a suspect acting without the discipline or expertise typically seen in carefully executed abductions. The combination of preparation and amateurish execution has significant implications for investigators. While the suspect clearly intended to carry out a serious crime, the errors and oversights could provide crucial leads. Each misstep, whether leaving behind gloves, poorly managing the firearm, or fumbling around security cameras, offers law enforcement potential evidence to follow. Dr. McCutcheon's analysis underscores the importance of scrutinizing not just what the suspect did, but how they did it. Their actions reflect a mix of planning and improvisation, revealing someone who may have imagined the crime more than executed it strategically. This blend of deliberate preparation and chaotic behavior creates both risk for the victim and opportunity for the authorities. Ultimately, the footage and subsequent discoveries highlight the urgent need to track down the suspect. While the individual may have attempted to conceal their identity and intentions, the combination of physical evidence and behavioral clues offers law enforcement multiple avenues to pursue. Each detail, no matter how small, contributes to building a profile of the suspect and understanding the circumstances surrounding Nancy Guthrie's abduction. This case is a stark reminder of how even a seemingly calculated plan can unravel under scrutiny, leaving traces that investigators can use to protect the victim and bring the perpetrator to justice. The gloves, the gun, the backpack, all of these elements form part of the puzzle that authorities must solve as they race against time to locate Nancy and ensure her safety. Law enforcement's response to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance has been swift and extensive. From the very beginning, authorities treated the case with the utmost urgency, recognizing the combination of her age, medical vulnerabilities, and the suspicious circumstances surrounding her vanishing. In the Catalina Foothills, where Nancy lived, FBI agents and local law enforcement launched ground operations that have been remarkably thorough. Investigators have methodically combed the area, searching every conceivable location for evidence. This includes drainage systems, septic tanks, and dense brush surrounding the residences, areas that might otherwise be overlooked but could conceal clues about Nancy's whereabouts. To manage the massive scope of the search and the complexity of the case, command posts were quickly established. These hubs allow investigators to coordinate resources, monitor developments, and prioritize leads. Modern technology has played a significant role, with geographic analysis helping to map key locations and artificial intelligence assisting in sorting and scoring the overwhelming volume of tips and information coming in from the public. Every lead, no matter how minor it may appear, is being treated with seriousness, given the high stakes of the situation. The search is not simply about locating evidence. It is a race against time to find Nancy herself, whether alive or tragically deceased. The family has also been active in the public sphere, taking a courageous stance in the midst of the crisis. Savannah Guthrie, along with her siblings and other close family members, has shared heartfelt messages through social media, appealing to the public and even directly addressing the suspected abductor. Their videos are a mixture of pleading, hope, and determination, expressing both the emotional toll of the disappearance and a desire to cooperate fully with authorities. These public appeals also serve a practical purpose. They may reach the perpetrator or others with critical information about Nancy's location. The stakes are especially high given Nancy's age and medical needs. She relies on daily medication to maintain her heart function. 11 days without her medication or any other critical care puts her life at immediate risk. Investigators understand the urgency. Every lead, no matter how small, could be the key to saving her life. Every corner of her neighborhood, from driveway drainage systems to isolated brush near her home, has been searched meticulously. Dr. Mike McCutcheon, a retired police officer and crime scene expert, has emphasized that Nancy Guthrie's abduction is likely far from random. There's a thread connecting Nancy to the kidnapper, he explained, highlighting the possibility that someone who knew her routine or had direct access to her home could be involved. In cases like this, the connection between victim and perpetrator often provides the critical key to solving the crime. Understanding a person's daily habits, movements, and patterns can shed light on how someone might exploit vulnerabilities. Investigators meticulously analyze everything from the victim's scheduled activities, social interactions, and trusted contacts to the design and security measures of the home itself. Any connection, no matter how seemingly insignificant, could ultimately unravel the mystery and reveal the identity of the abductor. The notion of a targeted abduction also shifts the investigative approach. Law enforcement must consider whether the perpetrator had prior knowledge of Nancy's daily schedule or medical needs, particularly her reliance on medication and the operation of her pacemaker. Knowledge of these details could indicate premeditation and familiarity, suggesting that the abductor was not simply an opportunistic stranger, but someone with insight into her life. Investigators focus on identifying anyone in her circle who might have had that level of access or information, from caregivers and maintenance workers to acquaintances who regularly visited the property. Each potential connection is examined for motive, opportunity, and access, forming a complex web of leads that must be carefully verified. Meanwhile, the family has remained vocal in their efforts to reach out to the suspected abductor, hoping to establish a channel of communication. Cameron Guthrie, Savannah's brother, directly addressed the person holding their mother, stating, "We want to hear from you. We are ready to listen. Our mother needs help, and we are asking for communication." These appeals are emotionally charged, but also carry strategic intent. By expressing a willingness to listen and negotiate, the family demonstrates a cooperative stance that signals to the perpetrator that law enforcement is fully involved and that the stakes are being taken seriously. Such communication aims to reduce the risk to Nancy, provide reassurance to the family, and potentially encourage the abductor to respond in a way that could provide clues to her location. These public appeals are carefully coordinated alongside law enforcement guidance. Families in abduction cases often work with investigators to ensure their messages do not jeopardize the ongoing operation or the safety of the victim. Every word chosen in a public statement is considered for its psychological effect on the abductor, as well as its clarity and authenticity to the broader community. Law enforcement's role is to advise on how to communicate effectively without inadvertently revealing investigative tactics or creating unintended pressure that could endanger the victim. The appeals also serve a broader purpose. They engage the community in the search. By making the abduction a public concern, the family encourages citizens to remain alert, report unusual activity, and provide any information that might be relevant. Public awareness can lead to tips that otherwise might never emerge, offering investigators additional avenues to pursue. At the same time, it helps humanize the situation, reminding the community that Nancy is not just a case number, but an elderly woman with urgent medical needs and a loving family desperately seeking her safe return. The combination of expert analysis, investigative diligence, and strategic family communication underscores the multifaceted approach required in a complex abduction case. While Dr. McCutcheon stresses the importance of uncovering connections that may point to someone familiar with Nancy, the family's appeals work in tandem to maintain hope and encourage cooperation from anyone who might hold crucial information. Every gesture, from videos to public statements, contributes to a broader effort to locate Nancy and ensure her safe recovery. Ultimately, the investigation hinges on identifying that crucial link, the thread connecting the victim to her abductor. It may be subtle, buried in seemingly minor details, or embedded in the routines of her daily life. Investigators must unravel this thread with patience and precision. At the same time, The family's appeals act as both a beacon of hope and a tactical measure, signaling that they are actively engaged, vigilant, and willing to negotiate in the interest of Nancy's safety. Together, these elements form a concerted effort aimed at the singular goal of bringing her home. The stakes could not be higher. Nancy Guthrie's age, medical vulnerabilities, and the uncertainty of her condition amplify the urgency of every lead, tip, and strategy employed by authorities in the family. Dr. McCutcheon's insight into the likely targeted nature of the crime, combined with the family's ongoing outreach, creates a dual-pronged approach, one rooted in analytical investigation, the other in human connection and strategic communication. Each facet is essential, ensuring that no potential lead is overlooked and no opportunity for contact is missed. This blend of meticulous investigation and heartfelt appeal underscores the intensity of the search. It highlights that in cases such as Nancy Guthrie's, solving the abduction requires more than traditional policing. It demands understanding the human connections, habits, and vulnerabilities that may have made her a target, while simultaneously leveraging empathy, strategy, and communication to prompt the perpetrator toward action that could finally end the ordeal. The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance continues to be active, complex, and high stakes. Authorities are not only sifting through physical evidence, but also working tirelessly to track every possible lead that could point to her whereabouts. From reviewing security camera footage to analyzing discarded items found near her residence, investigators are leaving no stone unturned. Each piece of information is treated as potentially significant, and even the smallest detail could provide a breakthrough in locating Nancy or identifying her abductor. The meticulous approach reflects the understanding that time is critical, especially given Nancy's age, medical conditions, and reliance on daily medication. The FBI has underscored the seriousness of the case by offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to her recovery. This incentive serves as both a practical and symbolic measure. It communicates to the public that the agency is committed to resolving the case, while encouraging anyone with knowledge, even if they have been hesitant to come forward, to share what they know. Rewards of this magnitude can sometimes trigger leads that would not have emerged otherwise, whether from community members, neighbors, or even individuals with indirect knowledge of the abduction. Every tip is evaluated carefully, cross-referenced with other evidence, and assessed for credibility before being acted upon. Public attention continues to be intense, adding another layer to the investigation. Media coverage has ensured that Nancy's story remains in the public eye, keeping the pressure on potential witnesses or individuals with relevant information. Social media has also played a pivotal role, with family members, friends, and concerned citizens sharing updates, appeals, and requests for assistance. This visibility has helped generate a steady stream of tips, some mundane and some potentially crucial, creating a network of vigilance that extends well beyond law enforcement. Each post, video, or news segment increases the likelihood that someone who has seen or heard something relevant might finally come forward. Community engagement has also proven vital in the search. Residents of the Catalina Foothills and surrounding areas have reported suspicious activity, unusual behavior, or items of potential interest to authorities. Local volunteers have assisted in search efforts, scanning areas that may be difficult to reach for official personnel, such as dense brush, drainage systems, or secluded pathways. These combined efforts create a force multiplier for law enforcement, allowing them to cover more ground and investigate more thoroughly than would be possible with official personnel alone. At the heart of this effort lies the hope that someone knows more than they are revealing. Law enforcement officials, investigators, and family members alike have expressed that a single tip from the right person could unravel the mystery and lead directly to Nancy. That individual, whether a neighbor, acquaintance, or someone with indirect knowledge of the abduction, holds a critical key. Authorities are appealing to the conscience of anyone with relevant information, emphasizing the urgency of speaking up. They stress that even seemingly minor details could help reconstruct the events leading to her disappearance and bring closure to her family. The combination of meticulous investigation, public appeals, and community involvement reflects the multifaceted nature of the search. It is not merely a matter of gathering evidence. It is a coordinated effort to locate a vulnerable elderly woman, ensure her safety, and hold accountable whoever is responsible. Every step, from the analysis of security footage to the dissemination of reward information, is part of a larger strategy to maximize the chances of a successful resolution. Meanwhile, the family remains steadfast, maintaining both hope and vigilance. Their public statements and videos serve as emotional appeals, a reminder of the human stakes behind every procedural detail. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings have emphasized the importance of cooperation, both with law enforcement and anyone who might have knowledge of the abduction. Their voice is a constant reminder that Nancy is not just a subject of investigation. She is a beloved mother and grandmother, and her safe return is the paramount concern for everyone involved. In essence, the case remains dynamic, urgent, and highly sensitive. Investigators continue to coordinate ground operations, analyze digital and physical evidence, and follow up on the thousands of tips that pour in each day. At the same time, public engagement, family appeals, and the strategic use of media and social platforms ensure that the search extends far beyond the immediate area. The hope remains that someone with crucial information will come forward, providing the missing link that could finally bring Nancy home. Until that moment arrives, every effort, every lead, every analysis, and every appeal is focused on one goal: ensuring her safe recovery and delivering justice in this deeply unsettling case. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance is a sobering reminder of the vulnerability of even the most seemingly secure households. A quiet life, once taken for granted, can be shattered in an instant. For the Guthrie family, every day without Nancy is a day filled with uncertainty, fear, and heartbreak. For law enforcement, every day is a race against time, a balance of strategy, technology, and relentless fieldwork to find her before it's too late.